Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, click the bell icon for notifications. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so that you know when I go live. Normally I go live 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm located in the great state of Florida. But there are typically some days where I might live stream at a different time, such as for a monthly close or like tomorrow. I'm going to live stream earlier during the day tomorrow, so look out for that. If you do appreciate the content, also you can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on YouTube. You can follow me on TradingView and even Instagram. One word, it is simply Crypto Bull God. We are in the bipolar part of Florida season here. I live in South Florida, for those who are not familiar. And the month of May, actually, it's crazy. I was just IMing a coworker today, and I said, tell me how we got to the 1st of June. I feel like this year, seemingly you say this every year, but I feel like the year is going by very, very quickly. It's June 1st already. There's been a lot I know that has happened in my personal life this year. And a lot that has transpired in the crypto community as well. A lot of exciting times ahead. I'm anticipating the month of June to be a very, very bullish month for crypto. So it's something that we're going to keep an eye on together. But where I was going with the bipolar part in South Florida is May, man. May can be tricky. And we're just out in May. But what I mean is, started off the day today. It was sunny out. It looked nice. You get to the afternoon, it's cloudy, it's rainy, it looks like it's going to be miserable, and the sun is out again. So this is what you get in South Florida. It was eye-opening moving from the Northeast. It's no secret at this point. I've stated such that I'm a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan, grew up in the Northeast in Pennsylvania, and moving from Pennsylvania down to South Florida was kind of very eye-opening culturally and also just the weather. So, but I wouldn't, as much as I do miss a lot of the blue-collar mentality, there are certain things from Pennsylvania I absolutely do appreciate even that much more now that I've lived in South Florida. But no part of me would ever want to move back to Pennsylvania again. I just love warm weather, and Florida has so many different beautiful locations. I've definitely considered moving out of South Florida at some point. That was actually supposed to happen this year, but that fell through. But at some point this year, or at some point moving forward, most likely I'm going to move out of South Florida. You never know where life takes you. Maybe I'll meet a beautiful woman down here and end up in South Florida for the rest of my life. But I think at some point probably I'll move out of South Florida. Jeff Kua XRP, where are you located, brother? You said good morning. So are you having a cup of coffee there with DT? Where are you located at? So for today's live stream, what I want you guys to do, I just have a few random charts up we're going to take a look at. I really wanted to focus today on you, the viewer. And so yesterday, the whole purpose behind the live stream last night, I was really excited to go live and cover things live as monthly candles were closing out. I didn't do any Q&A, right? So really the focus for today's live stream is you give me something to chart. We will take a look at any chart that you would like me to take a look at. And obviously the focus is on crypto. If there's not a lot of questions, we can certainly swing off into something in the stock market. I don't mind. But obviously this is a crypto channel. So anything you guys want me to take a look at, I'm more than happy to chart for you. Feel free in the comments to drop anything that you'd like me to chart. To the degree that there aren't any charting questions, I have a few charts up here we can speak to, as well as I'll go through my watch list and we can obviously pull up whatever sort of hits me. So with that being said, and also I think at the end of the live stream, make sure to stay tuned in. Malaysia, welcome in, my friend. I'm going to give that a party sign. Party sign. So make sure to stay tuned in towards the end of the live stream. I have some thoughts surrounding something that I think could benefit everyone here. So make sure to stay tuned for that. Yeah, just some thoughts that I thought I would share with everyone. So with that being said, let's get into it. Oh, by the way, before we get into Bitcoin here and kind of talk about what's going on with current price action, I did want to say there was one individual who reached out to me on Twitter today and shared some positive feedback about the live streaming and the channel. And I just want to say, for anyone who's ever reached out to me and offered any feedback, it could be, you know, in the business world, in the corporate world, we don't like to say constructive feedback. We like to say opportunities for improvement. We can say constructive feedback. So whether you've had constructive feedback or you've just simply expressed your appreciation for the fact that I go live every single day and I'm genuinely just trying to share what I see in the charts and help everyone, I just want to say thank you. Like, it really does mean a lot to me. And I am really just a normal, just average person, no one special, and just going out here and doing my thing and charting, and it's something I enjoy doing. So thank you for expressing your appreciation. I appreciate you guys as well very much. So what's going on with Bitcoin? Well, so far we're pretty much doing what I said, right? So I have compared, this is the 12-hour chart. You guys should know this by now. I have compared the current price action to where we were at roughly in like late September. The other thing that I pointed out, I don't know that we took a look at this on favorite superhero character of all time. I don't know that we looked at this on this chart, but if you or on this live stream, but if you follow me on YouTube, you would have seen this. Here we go. So I'm drawing just to kind of further lay out to you sort of what I'm seeing in the chart. Again, history doesn't repeat, but it often rhymes. The pattern that we can see, I'll just kind of let you visualize and see what's going on. I understand this was a V-shaped recovery down here. This was a very abnormal point in history with the pandemic, with the China virus, with the, what's the other name? The Wuhan virus. We can't say that, right? We have to say the beer virus. We can't say that. We can't label it. We label every other virus, but we can't label this one for some reason. Anyway, don't want to digress. But you can see there's a little bit of pattern recognition here. And so what I do want to point out is that I really am comparing this moment back here, this consolidation in September and October, to the current time period we're at. And you know, the month of June is really going to tell us if I'm, not if I'm correct in that assertion, because we really need to hit all-time highs this year, and I'm willing to accept if we bleed into early next year, but my main hypothesis is this year, new all-time highs. We have to kind of let things develop throughout the course of this year to really see if I'm correct in this assertion. But in order to validate what I'm saying, we do need June to come in as a bullish month, right? So again, if we get the month of June and it's just sideways and we really don't do anything, I'm gonna kind of have to rethink things. I'm always going to be honest with you, and so I'll reassess kind of what's going on with you guys. But for the moment, look what I've laid out. I laid this out. When did I lay this out? You guys could probably spot check me on this if you've been paying attention. I think I laid this out probably back here, actually, when we started hitting up here. So this would have been on Monday. So I believe on Monday, I kind of laid out roughly what I'm expecting on this pattern. I explained why. I went back in time and explained how many touches we had on that 200 simple moving average on the 12-hour. So nothing significantly deviating here. In fact, it's literally doing exactly what I said it would do. Want to watch my words there. I'm not saying what will happen in the charts. I'm hypothesizing. So it's following my hypothesis. That's a better way to say it. Now, if, again, just want to level set with everyone, if we start seeing this, this is no bueno. Okay, this is no bueno. This would cause a death cross. That would make me a little nervous. Okay, so we don't want to see that. So we'll have to pay close attention to this 12-hour. I'm expecting a bounce up at some point over these handful of days up to this upwards line of resistance. And the line that we really want to start breaking, when you can start to get a little cautiously optimistic, is once we start breaking above this prior lower high here at 28,500. So once you see Bitcoin back above 28,500, chances are, more than likely, we're going to continue on up towards, looks like around close to 30,000, 29,800. From there, you know, it's got to show me some strength and start breaking 31,000. So we'll keep an eye on it together and kind of assess things as they come. This was a chart. This is Synapse Protocol. I have a really decent position in this. I kept accumulating on the way down in the 70 and 60 cent area. I had already fully established my position in the low 60s, so I didn't manage to scoop anything up that went under 60 cents. You can see we went under 60 cents temporarily. One of the things I wanted to point out, I've shown this on multiple time frames and I tweeted this out. Again, I'm just showing you what's in the charts. This doesn't need to play out. I'm just showing you a pattern that's present in a chart and it has a statistical likelihood of playing out. This is a falling wedge. It's a bullish pattern, okay? Falling wedge has a certain probability of playing out, right? It's not a guarantee that anything's going to happen, but what we can ascertain from this chart is that it has a higher likelihood. There's a higher likelihood that we will see some sort of significant bounce out of this formation. Again, I'm just going to throw, just to illustrate what I'm saying, there's perhaps, I don't know the exact statistical likelihood, but let's say it's 70-30. So there's perhaps a 70% probability that we are going to see a bounce at some point. It could be here, it could be here, it could be here, wherever it is. There's perhaps a 70% likelihood that we will see some sort of bounce that resembles this versus a 30% probability that it starts dropping down and goes even lower and the falling wedge pattern fails, okay? The other thing that I wanted to point out in this pattern, which actually gives it even more significance of that likelihood of it playing out to a bullish scenario, and my portfolio would appreciate that given the size that I hold, we have bullish divergence on the 1 day. You see this? You see as price has been doing this, it's just going sideways. You see how momentum and strength is building in the chart. Okay, this bullish divergence as the RSI is increasing and price has been going down / sideways. What that's telling us is strength behind the scenes, okay? And this is why it's important to look at price indicators. Price alone, price is king, but price alone is not the complete story. If we peel back the layers of the onion and we evaluate the price indicators, sometimes that can give us some breadcrumbs. I always joke with my brother about this. He loves the breadcrumbs analogy. But this can give us breadcrumbs in the direction that things may likely go. So in this case, this is bullish divergence. There's strength building in the price, which tells us that more than likely price wants to jump up, right? So that further validates our view of this falling wedge. We have a falling wedge, we have bullish divergence. This looks like an awesome trade setup, if anything else. Even if you're not a long-term holder here and you have a small position, I encourage individuals, especially given how veteran you are, how seasoned you are, only a small position of your portfolio for trading. Let's say you have $10,000 in the market based on your experience level, maybe $500 is for trading. That's 5%, okay? So, you know, you have that $500, maybe you want to establish a position here for a swing trade. Never financial advice. I'm just saying this is a great trade setup in my opinion. Let's go to the next one. So this is one that I recently just covered. This is Sandbox, and you can see also Mana is up nice today at 3%. This is on the weekly. Let's take a look at the daily here. Do we have any bullish divergence or anything going on? Yeah, there's a little bit of bullish divergence here, actually. It's funny. You can see a lot of commonalities in these charts. You see how the RSI is down here, right here. I want to point to this level here, and it's increasing. Okay, so the price was here, the price was here. We were at the same point in time here, okay, but the RSI is actually increasing, and you can see this is starting to play out. Now, in the grander scheme of things, if we actually zoom out here on a higher time frame, really it's all about this falling wedge, okay? We're in a falling wedge. So this is another situation where we have a chart, and this is on a higher time frame, where we have a falling wedge present, okay? We've stayed above this key area of support with price confluence, which is now supported about 53, it looks like 54 cents, 53 and a half to 54 cents, okay? MACD looks like it wants to continue crossing up. All these values, the stochastic RSI looks good. It's picking up over 20, and the RSI is still oversold, has plenty of room to run. Once we start breaking out of this descending resistance, that's when things are going to get interesting. You have 70 cents and 91 cents. Of course, there's a psychological level of $1 as well. Guys, keep in mind, in terms of how you want to position yourself for the upcoming run that I am anticipating, there's certain narratives that will be stronger than others, right? So I have spoken to, by the way, if anyone's having a happy hour drink with me this evening, I am having It's just Jack Daniel's honey whiskey. It's actually very good. I think I had this. I took a trip to Tennessee several years ago, and it was a really cool trip. It was a really nice trip, and I remember driving through Tennessee, and if you guys, I would encourage you, for you guys who do not, guys and gals who do not travel, get out there and travel. See the world. It opens up your eyes. It really does. Something I need to do. I've been to a lot of different places in the United States. I need to do more international traveling. I have not traveled internationally as much as I should have. Get out there. It opens up your eyes. But anyway, when I was in Tennessee, beautiful, beautiful location. Driving through, I remember when we were driving through these rolling green hills, and just it was just so beautiful. But anyway, we went to the girl I was dating at the time. We went to the Jack Daniel's distillery, and they did a tour and a tasting, and it was such a great time. But this is one of the whiskeys that I tried there. I remember trying it. They had you do a tasting, and I remember at the end of the tasting, and I can handle my liquor, but at the end of the tasting, you were feeling yourself. you were definitely feeling yourself at the end of that tasting. But where I was going with this was there's certain narratives that are going to be very strong for the upcoming cycle, right? So in my opinion, you need to make sure that you are positioned accordingly and you're diversified within those different narratives, okay? So let me give you an example. I've hit on crypto AI. I have a couple tokens that I'm holding for the crypto AI narrative specifically, okay? The metaverse. Guys, I don't know if you've noticed lately, shit has gotten more cray-cray in the world since 2020. I don't know if you've known. I don't want to go into it. We're not going down that path. There's a lot of cray-cray out there. Things where it's like, it's not political. There's nothing political about things. It's just like logic and common sense. And it's just going out the door. People are irrational. The world seems like it's going to a hell. It seems in many ways like it's going to hell in a handbasket fast. So where I'm going with this is, do you think people are not going to want to escape the world and go into the goddamn metaverse? You're kidding yourself if you don't think so, okay? Put on a headset, get into that metaverse, and just fucking have fun with that shit, all right? So metaverses, I think, is going to be a strong play. Okay, you have layer ones, you have layer twos. There's certain narratives that you want to make sure that you're invested in and you have exposure to. So I have exposure. I've had exposure for Mana for a while, but I've also now established some exposure in Sandbox as well. So just wanted to keep you guys honest there. Brian, welcome in. Did my first comment come through? Can't tell. No, Brian, your first comment didn't come through, but glad to see you here. Cheers, Alex. Glad to see you in here, brother. Alchemy Finance. I got to tell you guys, this thing didn't go as low as I wanted it to go, but it still provided an opportune situation to buy in this dark golden zone that I spoke about. To me, the way the chart is setting up in Alchemy Finance right now, let's just focus on price data. Couple different scenarios that could play out with this one, okay, that I can see going on with the chart. And I think some of this is going to be dictated by what happens. Again, my view is June's going to be very bullish, right? It doesn't mean every day in June is going to be bullish, right? There are 30 days in June, okay? Crypto's very volatile. We could have 10 days of sideways bullshit, and we could have 20 days of euphoria in June, okay, just as an example. The point is, keeping that in mind, what I'm sharing with you, ultimately for this month for Alchemy Finance, I see this thing breaking up. But in the meantime, over the shorter term, what could I expect? Well, there's kind of two scenarios. One, I could see a pullback to this area here. There's price confluence with this is on the 3-day. There's price confluence on the 50-day simple moving average and 10-day simple moving average. So something around 2.6 cents. I could see that. You could get some volatility that maybe comes down into this lower region at 2.45 cents or 2.5 cents. This is the main area, if we go down, that I would look to accumulate. I personally would not be holding out into lower territories down here. I would not be waiting for that because I don't think it's going to come, okay? If you want to get into Alchemy, I think anything reasonably between 2.63 cents and we're going to call it I'll say 2.4 cents just to keep it simple. 2.6. Again, just want to keep it simple. 2.6 to 2.4 cents, we could get a pullback there. The other thing it could do, though, we could continue to maintain price levels at this area, because what I love to see in this chart, the 10-day is starting to curl up, the 50 is curling up. Basically, we could just continue to go sideways, squeezing in between the moving averages, and then eventually pinching up. Those are the two scenarios I see playing out. I love the strength that I'm seeing in this project, okay? Hence why I'm invested in it. And right now, I mean, I know it might look like we're far away from all-time highs up here at 20 cents. We're not far away one bit. We're not far away one bit. I believe I have a video in my profile, my profile. Huh? I have a video on my YouTube channel, Alchemy Finance, and I think on that video, let me check really quick. I think on there I give price targets. If not, I want to update some price analysis. No, I did. I know I did. Yes, if you go to my YouTube channel, guys, if you're interested in an analysis on Alchemy Finance and nothing has changed based on current price action, in fact, in that video, I'm pretty sure I would have spoken to pullback levels. So you can keep me honest if I was accurate in where we pulled back to. Alchemy pay price targets. Okay. And that video came out February 24th of this year. Check that video out. So that's what I'm seeing on Alchemy Finance. Flux had a large move up. You can see we ran up from around 50 cents all the way up to 68. Now we've pulled all the way back down to 51 cents, right? Now, what I want to see on this chart, again, overall from a macro perspective, kind of zooming out, this is a very bullish chart. I love the symmetry in this chart, okay? Very, very bullish chart. This is a weekly, again, price indicators picking up. We have a stochastic RSI cross. It needs to get above 20. We'll see where we land at the end of the week. RSI is still a little oversold, but I like what I'm seeing on the MACD because the momentum is starting to pick back up, and we're not far from a cross above zero. Now, what I want to see this week for Flux, okay, what I want to see this week for Flux, I don't want to see a candle print like this. That's a bearish weekly candle. I don't want to see that. Okay, if you're a holder of this asset, and I just increased my position size, I don't want to see that. What I want to see, the main thing I want to see, recognizing this is a very volatile asset, is I'm not expecting a thick green candle to close by the end of Sunday. That's unrealistic, okay? What is realistic is I need the body of this candle, and now it's actually turning green. I need the body of this candle to have a little bit more green to it. Try to at least get up to this 55 cent area. Have some sort of green body here, recognizing that in a lot of, and again, in all the evaluation of charts I've done over the course of the past 7-8 years of charting in my life, I recognize for low liquidity assets like this, even if you get a candlestick like this, okay, which isn't the most bullish candlestick, you have a thin green body and an upper wick, it's volatility, right? The main thing is, and you can see we continue an uptrend there, the main thing is I don't want this candle body to close red. That would be bearish for me for Flux, okay? Get this candle body to turn green. And the more significant the size of the green body, the more bullish and positive it is for us as an investor in Flux. So something to keep an eye on. Now, Chili's, the individual who reached out to me or comment, you can go on Twitter. There's some nice guy commented on something, provided me some positive feedback. He actually was asking about Chili's. So I'm showing you what I see in the chart, okay? Couple things to point out here. First off, let's just focus on price action. Beautiful market structure, guys. Beautiful market structure, okay? When you guys come to me with questions, which by the way, I see 0 questions in the comments box, drop me some questions on charts that you want me to chart out. I'm very happy to chart them out. But when you guys share with me charts to kind of chart on here, I'm very transparent with you. If I see something I don't like, I tell you. There was a chart this couple days ago, I forget who it was actually, had me charted out, and I just said it was an ugly looking chart. But in this case, what I love to see here, look at this thing. We're just consolidating in here, and then we get this rounding bottom and this parabolic price movement. And right now, a couple observations on what's going on. This is on the weekly. And actually, I'm going to consolidate. Let's go to a 2-week. Let's consolidate. Yeah, this is actually even better. Couple things. First off, this is a bull pennant. This is the pole. This is the flag or pennant, whatever the hell you want to call it, okay? The other thing that I would point out in the chart, and that's bullish, okay? The other thing that I would point out in the chart is this is a broadening wedge. So you can see we're more narrow up here, and then we get wider. This is also bullish. Of course, we didn't drop all the way down here, but still, we had multiple touches here. This is also bullish. The other thing that's going on inside this chart, okay, we have some support here around 9.8 cents that we're holding right now. And I have not looked at this, but I would be willing to bet we have some level of bullish divergence. A little bit starting to come in. Not a lot, actually, but a little bit on the daily. You can see price is stagnant and the RSI is increasing. So a little bit of bullish divergence. This thing, now this is a gaming play, and this is another way to remain diversified with your holdings, to hold a gaming play, okay, for fan tokens, okay? So for me, this is an extremely bullish opportunity to accumulate. I had just tweeted earlier this morning that I repositioned some of my portfolio to buy some chilies. And what I'm looking at right now I just took the bottom of our price here all the way up to our first. This is just wave 1, okay? This is just, for all you Elliott wave technicians, this is just wave 1. We're waiting for wave 3, which typically is the largest and most profound wave in an Elliott wave analysis. You have a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. We're waiting for 5 on Bitcoin. We're waiting for 3 on chilies. And I've targeted out here expectations in terms of price targets. From the bottom to the top to the bottom here. Okay, that's how you draw out a trend-based fib extension. Now, a 1.618, that would be the first extension we would look at. That would be underwhelming at $1.60. Again, that would still be a 16x return from current price levels. A 2.68, in my opinion, that's still underwhelming. That's 2.54. That's a 25x return. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to crypto. If you haven't looked at charts, and I say that a 25x return is boring for this chart and underwhelming, you haven't been here long, because that's just a fact of matter. I think this thing could go as high as a 3.618 or even a 5.618. I want to be reasonable, though. I want to try to level set conversation and say, okay, I think something, let's try to be a little bit conservative here. Let's say something between the 2.618 and 3.618. You're looking at something between 250 and 350. That's a 25 to 35x from current price levels. Yes, I think it is extremely realistic. We'll come back. We're going to come back to this in time. We're not literally going to come back to this video, but we're going to come back to a lot of my analysis and evaluate how unrealistic or realistic it was. But I think in time, it will be proven to be correct that going from 10 cents, we're sitting at 10 cents, and going up to 250 or 350, it occurred. When it occurs, we'll have to see how the market develops here. But I think a 25 to 35x is reasonable for chilies, hitting 250 to 350. Very bullish setup. Like I said, I established a position. I think 10 cents. I think 10 cents right now is a steal. Even if you took this as a trade opportunity, I just want to show you something real quick. What you could do, even if you didn't want to invest in this thing and you're like, CBG, you are out of your fucking mind. This thing is never going that high. But I do want to capture the upside volatility that crypto represents, and I want to trade it. Hey, I respect you for that. Really, I do. I respect it. We don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. So the logical thing that you could do is, if you established a position here, you could sell when we get up to this upwards trend line here. Recognizing, you see how we have downwards resistance here? We've been rejected multiple times, okay? I respect that thought process. I respect the fact that if you establish a trade position right now, you would want to begin to exit your trade, okay, as we begin to hit, where are we at? Sorry. as we begin to hit upward resistance, you're looking at roughly an 80% return, right? If you're, again, and as a trader, you should have stop loss limits and all that shit. So if you're not familiar with that, then maybe trading isn't for you. But if your risk to reward ratio is, hey, I'm going to put in a stop down here at, let's just establish a level here. Let's have some fun here. So if you wanted to put in a stop, let's take the wick here. Roughly there at about 8.8 cents. So if you told me I'm taking this trade for 80% appreciation in price and I'm putting in a stop for downside risk of, and you would set it below here. So maybe the idea is you would set it below the wick. You would set it below the wick at which you're establishing the price, which is this candlestick here. So if you're taking on roughly 13% risk for 80% gain, that's approximately a 6-to-1 risk, a reward to risk ratio, which is great. Typically, when you take on a trade, again, depends on your risk tolerance level, you want to have a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 plus, okay, for risk to reward ratio. So reward to risk ratio. So yeah, it's even a great trade setup. But I established a position here. I think it's a great opportunity to get in. So this is one we haven't looked at in a while. It sort of piqued my interest, and I'll tell you why. And then we're going to get to your questions. I see there's at least, wasn't there one question that came in? Excellent. I finally have a question. Thank you very much, Track. And if anybody else would like me to chart something, please let me know, because this was the point of the live stream. I do want to chart out questions everybody else has, so do not be shy. Shy is a sin. We are not shy on this channel. We are ourselves. Okay, now this is an interesting setup. This is a project that I have not evaluated in a very long time. And what I was doing was I was simply kind of going through my list here. And I was like, Maple. Man, I haven't looked at this thing in a really long time. And I just pulled it up and I had some observations. So I just want to share them with you. This is nothing I'm invested in. This is nothing I have a trade position in. But this is something I would consider potentially putting a small amount in for a trade. And I'll share with you why. We have, first off, let me explain this. We have downward resistance here. Macro downward resistance since 2002, spring of 2022. Okay, so for like a year. Okay, resistance. We just broke it. Do you see how we broke it here? So that's the first thing I want to call out. We broke the macro downward resistance. The next thing I would like to point out is that we have pulled back significantly and we've held back. We've held above this descending resistance. We've, for the moment, created the descending resistance as support. We haven't gone below it, right? We haven't gone back below this descending line. It would be very bearish if we pulled up here and then we did this, okay? That's not good. No bueno. It's no bueno, okay? A little bit of Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish, right? I've dated enough Latina women that I should know a little bit of Spanish. Actually, I studied Spanish in school, but I've always had that handicap. I've had that crutch. I've dated someone that knew Spanish down here. Living in South Florida, it's critical that you know Spanish. And so I've always had that crutch that I could lean on someone. Very, very helpful. Very, very helpful living down here in South Florida. Anyway, I digress again. Point is, we've held above the descending resistance here. We've held it as support. I have two lines of support here. Okay, so for me, I think where I would be really interested, a couple thoughts. I'll have to assess the chart as it develops. If we started to get to these levels down here, around 511 or 480, I would be very interested in creating a position for myself for a trade. Okay? And you can see these gray lines here are resistance. But the other thing I want to point out is this is exhibiting a rounding bottom. Now, I'm not saying this has to play out, but if we go into some sort of parabola, what you could also see is you could see price gravitate in this region, come up here, and then just continue to really escalate in price. Again, Doesn't have to happen, but I've charted these things for a long enough time to see it happen. There is a strong case for a rounding bottom here. I would at least encourage you, if you're savvy enough and you have a small portion of your position allocated to trades, take a look at ticker symbol MPL, because it's at least setting up for a potential trade opportunity. So I would take a look at that. So we have a few questions coming in, which is great, because these are the only charts I had up. Are we down 7% today? Is that what we're down? Yeah, maybe even now is a great buying opportunity. But I would be patient on this one, though. I wouldn't rush into it. Go, Synapse, go. All right, what do we got here? Can you chart Bitcoin? Oh, Bitcoin dominance? We'll track, we already looked at Bitcoin, so I'm assuming you mean Bitcoin dominance. You know, my friend, we actually, we looked at Bitcoin dominance yesterday. I'll pull it up because you asked. But I don't have anything new. You know, I actually wanted to take a look at track with you guys. I had a question on it yesterday. I tweeted out, look at my tweet today. Look at my tweet, diddly dee. Scooped up a chunk of track. And when I say a scoop of, I don't use my words lightly. I scooped up a chunk. I want to hit home on that point. I scooped up a chunk of track when I saw it down 8%. Too good an opportunity. We'll take a look at that one. And someone actually asked a question on that yesterday. Yeah, too good an opportunity not to get some. Yeah, so we looked at this just the other day, track. Oh, man. This is a nasty chart because all this shit's drawn here. We're just consolidating in this range. You see how it's going sideways here. The other thing I pulled up was, man, you should have joined the live stream yesterday, my friend. We spent a great deal of time talking dominance, so I'm not going to bore my audience that's returning here. I don't want to repeat myself too much. The one case that I made here was that we were sort of in this pennant idea. I was saying we could go up, we could go down. The one thing lending itself to going up would be, we do sort of have a pennant, okay? I'm not going to draw it perfect. I'm trying to be quick because I don't want to waste time. We already talked about this yesterday. We're in a pennant. There is a case to be made. We could go up. The other thing is I pointed to the technical indicators saying we could make a move up. The other thing I pointed to is we've bounced up against resistance several times. That also lends itself to an increased likelihood, no certainties in charting, but an increased likelihood we could move up. Either way, the two scenarios I see for dominance, there's only two scenarios I see. We run up to approximately 58%, and then we continue to move down, at which point when we hit around 39%, we're breaking this. We have hit 39% way too many times, and it weakens every time you continue to hit it like this. We've hit it way too many times that it's not going to break, okay? And then you're talking about going down to our all-time lows at 35%, and then eventually getting down to the mid to low 20% range, which is what I spoke to. The other scenario, is we never do go up to 58%. Maybe we make a little move or we kind of stay in this area and then we drop. Those are the two scenarios I see, but I covered that. You can go back to the live stream from yesterday. I covered that in great detail. Internet computer. You guys, some of you guys really are interested in this thing. We've covered this one before. I just want to caution you. I'm pretty sure we took a look at this before, and I just said this is one ugly ass looking chart. So, yeah, I just want to say in general, again, just keeping things honest with you. I'm never going to give you fluff or bullshit on this channel. This is nothing I would invest in personally. This is a horrendous chart. I just want to say that from the start. So this is nothing I would position myself in and say, wow, look at that price wick. We were up $2,700. Well, we're at $4. Man, I'm just going to park my money there and wait for it to go to $2,000. That's the most naive, uneducated, dumbest thing you could do with your money. And I want to be straight with you because I don't want to see you lose money. That is the dumbest thing you could do. This thing is not, you know how you never say never? Well, I'm not going to say never, but I'm going to assign I'm very careful with my numbers because I'm an actuary. I'm going to assign a 97% likelihood, okay? I'm going to assign a 97% likelihood you will never see ICP up at these price levels at $2,780, okay? So I just want to level set the conversation. In fact, I'll assign even at $200, I mean, if it gets even back to $200, it's going to take a very long time. Like, this chart is just ass ugly. But let's chart it because you asked. I don't own this thing. I wouldn't fucking touch it unless if a trade setup came. So we have descending resistance here. We had talked about this earlier. This is something I charted out before and emphasized that it is one ugly ass chart. Let's look at the price indicators. Okay, MACD's getting close to a cross on the weekly. You see the RSI is increasing in value, which is great. It's still oversold at 42. Stochastic RSI, we need to pick up momentum. The stochastic RSI is dropped off. It's below 20 and it's negative, so a lot of momentum needs to pick up in this thing. Let's go to a higher, let's see if we can get a trade on this thing. Let's see if there's anything in here that would suggest a trade. Okay. Well, we're reaching a little bit. I mean, the RSI technically is hot. I mean, yeah, I think we're reaching for bullish divergence, to be honest with you. I think we're reaching on that one. Yeah, my friend, I really don't like this chart. I don't have a lot of positive things to share with you. 450 needs to hold. If 450 does not hold, we have another area of support right around here at $4.20. If $4.20 doesn't hold, then, God, where the hell is it? Every time I say ICP, I think of the Insane Clown Posse, for those that are familiar. But this is not the Insane Clown Posse, unfortunately. This is internet, computer, fucking death spiral stock. You guys know what a death spiral is? This is the example of a death spiral. This is not good. I got your areas of support here roughly. $4.50, $4.20, $4, $3.80. You got to show me something, ICP. You got to break this resistance and start heading up towards $8 to $9. I just don't like this chart. There's nothing in the chart that's making me feel super convicted or super bullish. Sad to say, Track. This is one, and again, I'm never going to give you financial advice. There is never financial advice on this channel. I want to emphasize that. All I'm doing is I'm telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, and let me be honest with you. Let's say that I made a bad decision, because I can tell you, let's just level set the conversation for a moment. I've been doing this for relatively a long period of time. I've made a lot of dumb mistakes, okay? I've lost money via emotion. I've lost money before I even knew how to read charts, investing on fundamentals and those fundamentals not panning through. I've done a lot of stupid shit, okay? And the important thing is you express enough humility and humbleness and you recognize, hey, I'm a human being. I'm no better than anyone else. We're all the same, right? And you learn from it. It's the best thing you can do. You look in the mirror and say, look, I got this. I'm positive. I know I'm smart. I'm a positive person. I'm going to make it out of this and learn from it. And this is what I'm going to learn from where I don't like to use the word failure, but where I didn't succeed before. I'm going to learn from this and I'm going to move forward, okay? So I don't say this in any way that is... I don't mean this to be rude. I mean this to be, I want to come across in a way that's educational and that will help you. If you own a portion of this, this is my best suggestion. Again, keeping in mind it's not financial advice, it's a suggestion. Let's just say I decided to buy some ICP at, I don't know, let's say I bought it all the way up here. Let's say I bought it all the way up at these levels thinking it was such a great buy opportunity at $17, right? I knew what I was doing because this thing ICO'd at $2,000 and I bought it at 17. I'm a fucking genius, right? And then, you know what? It's sitting at 4 and I'm like, I feel like a piece of shit because that's how I would feel, okay? Been there, done that, right? What I would do is, you know the saying, you know when to hold them and you know when to fold them? what I would say is the crypto industry is made up of so many projects. It's made up of so many opportunities to invest in, okay? What I would do is I would ask myself, is it smart to sell now and just put it in something that I know is a good, attractive investment opportunity, cut my losses? Or is there a trade set up, and do I want to wait for this thing to eventually start to run up to certain price levels and then just get out? Because I can tell you that this is an ugly ass chart. I'm just going to leave it at that, okay? So hopefully that is helpful. So you were just wondering because ICP was over $400 at one time. Yeah, it looks like a piece of shit. This is a horrendous looking chart. There's way too many guys. I mean, Jesus Christ. Even this chart, which is not the most attractive chart, this chart is much more attractive an opportunity, much more. MPL is much more an attractive opportunity, in my opinion, than this chart. This chart is shit, okay? So every chart we've looked at, every single chart we've looked at here is much more of an attractive opportunity than ICP. Again, not saying it can't defy odds and all of a sudden shoot up to $68. I'm not saying that. But I'm telling you, the probabilities are just not there. It looks horrendous. I can only tell you what I see in the charts. So what other questions do you guys... Wow, we are running up against 46 minutes. Wow, that might be it for the live stream. Didn't recognize we were 46 minutes in. I will take one more charting question if you guys have it. If not, I'm going to look at track. This is one that... Again, this is even outside the golden buy opportunity or the green zone that I had for a buy opportunity. You can see right now, I don't expect it to go that long, so let's just be a little bit more realistic. So right now, what I see are a couple things on this chart, kind of consistent with some other charts. You see a pole and a flag. We also see a falling wedge. There's a falling wedge in here. I think this is an opportune time to get into this asset. You can see the momentum is low. We're oversold. The stochastic RSI is below 20. We have a positive cross, but we're below 20. We have a cross down in the MACD. The price indicators aren't looking good. I just think where we're at right now relative to history and my expectations for June, I think this is an opportune time to get in. That's why I bought another chunk today. We'll have to see how it plays out. But it'll be interesting to see when we start to shoot up. Yeah, I will definitely track. I got you. Thank you for the questions, by the way. Keep them coming because not a lot of people are asking questions here, so I appreciate it. It'll be interesting once we shoot up towards this resistance here, what's going to happen? Are we going to reject and come back down, or are we going to start to go up towards these higher levels? The last thing I will say on this chart, once we do break, let's just focus on price action for track. Once we do break this downward resistance here with volume and we really start to shoot up above 48 cents, I think we're going to start hitting areas up into this 70 to 90 cent area very quickly. These low liquidity assets can move very quickly. So again, once we start to shoot up past this area with volume, I think we're really going to start to escalate into price levels up here. So something to keep an eye on this month. Again, I'm expecting very, very big things for the month of June. I think June's going to be that month where you open up your ledger balance or whatever, your Trezor balance, whatever hardware wallet you have, or if you have some money on an exchange, your exchange balance. It's going to be fun to refresh the balances again in June. So we're going to wait for that. Neffy, welcome in, my friend. Polygon. Yeah, we'll take a look at sushi. I want to share my thoughts on sushi because I haven't updated you guys in a while. Matic, we just took a look at Matic earlier, actually. I don't know that I'm going to have too much to say, Track, but we can certainly take a look at it. These are my general expectations, okay? This is on a weekly. Let's just focus on weekly. Again, people, oh, Matic isn't doing anything. Look at this price action. It's called consolidation. I mean, when you have a run up, look, we were at 75 cents and we shot up to $1.57. We did a 2x, which on a larger cap like this is a large price multiple, okay? So what? We've had consolidation into the mid to high 80s, and we're back up at like 90 cents. What's the big deal, right? We have higher highs and higher lows. I'm expecting going into the summer that we're going to start hitting price levels up towards $2 plus, okay? It's looking very healthy to me. MACD is starting to flatten a little bit. We'll have to see how the week closes. Stochastic RSI is below 20. We're starting to get a positive close up, I expect, okay? Mark my words, we'll come back to it. And RSI, by the way, is still a little oversold. Mark my words, this stochastic RSI is going to start crossing above 20 over the coming 1 to 2 weeks, okay? We will come back to this chart and look at it. Guys, Polygon Matic, there's only 2 assets I've commented on, okay? There are 2 assets that I'm holding. I continue to do these recurring purchases. I update you on Twitter. I'm not going to go into it and beat a dead horse and comment again. There are 2 assets that I'm not planning on selling, and I just keep accumulating. It's Bitcoin and it's Polygon Matic. I'm not selling anything. I'm just staking the Polygon Matic. I'm accumulating Bitcoin. And it is what I view as a supplemental retirement account. I'm not touching it. Okay, so it is what it is. It's going to, and I recognize it's going to accumulate to whatever value it is at the top of this bull cycle. Part of me might reassess and sell maybe even a portion of it and then get back in. But more than likely, I'm not going to touch it. More than likely, I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to let it sit. Just fucking let it sit for the next 5 to 10 years, okay? And it's a supplemental retirement account. I don't even like to use retirement account. I don't like to use the word retirement because I'm never going to truly retire in life. I have plans to become financially independent much younger than 99% of the world, or at least in the United States. I don't know what it's like outside of the United States. But you get financially independent. Once you're financially independent, what the hell does financially independent even mean? It means you have enough wealth to be self-supporting such that you don't have to rely on the man for a paycheck. So that would dictate that you could do whatever the fuck you want with your life, but it's important in life to stay busy. You never want to be sedentary and not do anything with your life. There's my neighbor again slamming the doors. I love that. It makes me want to check to make sure no one came into my place. I'm sure I'm okay, but, you know. Thumbs up for everyone new tuning in. But anyway, we want to make sure that when you get to the point where you're financially independent, stay active, do things. It's an enticing thought to live on an island and sip margaritas for the rest of your life, but that's actually pretty fucking boring. One of the quickest ways to a premature death is to not challenge yourself. You have to constantly have challenges in your life. Shouldn't be your spouse or significant other. That should create harmony in your life. Goal is to meet someone who doesn't cause you instability and stress in your life. That's different. But no, in all seriousness, the goal is you always want to have something that you're working towards achieving and you're contributing towards society. I'm going on a tangent. I don't know how the hell I got on that tangent. Let's get off this chart and let's go to the next question. Sushi, Neffy, I'm going to be honest with you for sushi. I had a trade in here, and I exited the trade because I was not liking what I was seeing. I felt that there were better prospects out there, and I was disappointed with the chart. Yeah, so I do not like what I'm seeing here. So let me clearly explain to you why. And you know what? I told you that I was entering a trade position on this, and I did not announce that I exited the trade position, and I should have done that. And now that I'm saying that out loud, I got to go back to my tweet. You know, I got a little bit of a busy life, so I don't announce everything on Twitter, so kind of missed that one. But now that I'm acknowledging that and thinking about it, I need to go back and say, hey, you know, I got to find the tweet, but hey, I exited this position. I don't like what I'm seeing. Let me explain to you what I see going on in the charts. Now, the reason I entered this position, you can see OBV is still picking up, although I'm going to close out of that. God damn, there's too many fucking price indicators on this chart. Let's get out of this. Let's just focus on the RSI. The main reason that I established a trade position in this was because you can see we hit a low here. There's a couple things to point out here and why there is cause for concern for me. We hit a low here of 86 cents. What have we done since? We've gone lower. We're at 83 cents. Okay, so we've gone lower than what was our all-time low back in June of 2022. We created a new all-time low. That's a lot of weakness being expressed. Most of these altcoins, not all of them, most of them, though, the lows are already in. They're not creating more lows, right? The other thing is a main premise behind the trade position and why I established one was because we had bullish divergence, right? Even though the price was going sideways, we had RSI building. Look what's happened. It's dropped off. Now, you could say, well, we still have bullish divergence, right? True, we do. The RSI is higher. It is. It's higher relative to where it was back here, and price is lower. There is still bullish divergence, but it's not as strong a case anymore, and we're setting new lows. So I'm not telling you that sushi can't jump, and I have a feeling it is. I still have a feeling it's going to make a major move up and a major jump. This is a DEX play, a decentralized exchange play, but I don't like the fact that it's creating new all-time lows. I don't like the fact that the bullish divergence isn't as strong as it was before. So I'm out. Again, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, right? Some of these calls that I make in terms of where to get in and where to exit, some of them I'm going to get very correct and very spot on, and some of them I'm going to get very wrong and very off. And that's part of, again, just being human. I'm not an artificial intelligence being, okay? So this one, I folded and got out of it. So not liking what I'm seeing. But if we do make a move up, what I would look for, well, we will make them. I shouldn't say that. We will more than likely make a strong move up at some point. But what I would look for is resistance in this area to $1.90, $1.70. So there is the opportunity to make a 100% move here plus. But I just don't like the setup. It's not as strong as it once was. Now watch this. Tomorrow it'll be up like 50%. Come back and be like, CBG told me that this wasn't strong, and now you're welcome, nephew. I'm glad you found that helpful. So yeah, there's a couple ways to look at this. I mean, you could look at this and say, oh my God, it's the lowest price it's been in forever, and now's the time to buy. Yeah, well, why can't it go lower though? Because again, now that we've broken this area here, keep in mind, I just want to level set the conversation. I'm always going to be honest with you. There's only a wick here, and we've gone below it. Where the question you have to ask yourself is, when you break major support, where is the next level of support? That's what you got to ask yourself. You can't just say, well, it feels right. I'm going to buy because it's really low. No, that is foolish. That's your emotion speaking. That's inexperience speaking, guys. I've done that shit. I'm trying to share things with you so you learn from the stupidity, ignorance, and uneducated decisions I have made and others have made, right? If we've broken a key area of support, it doesn't just need to go up. The question you need to ask yourself is, where's the next level of support? Well, the only thing we got is down here. So I'm not telling you that it could go all the way down here, but quite frankly, the next area of support I see, okay, just telling you what I see in the charts. I could see an area right there at 76 cents. I could see an area, again, these are nice round figures. I could see an area there at 71 cents. I could see an area right there at 64 cents. Now, if we start going below 64 cents, things could get disastrous. Okay, so really there's no reason that this thing couldn't fall to 76 or 71 or 64 cents. Now, I will tell you what, if we start to approach 64 cents, I am seriously going to consider establishing a position. I'm just telling you that right now, because then we are getting to monumentally suppressed prices. So keep an eye on sushi. I'm glad you brought it up. We will keep an eye on it. But if we start heading towards 64 cents, then I would consider reestablishing a position. Track, when you're charting, Oh, like nails on a chalkboard. You do mean Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. Sorry for being the grammar police, but when you're charting, do you have a savor indicator that you use it? I have no idea what you're asking. Sorry, could you restate your question? Because I have no clue what you're saying. I'm sorry, I have no idea. When you're charting, do you have a savor indicator that you use? I'm not sure what you mean. You'll have to restate your question. I'm not sure, my friend. All right, so I think that is going to do it for charting. So I wanted to share something for everyone that has stuck around for the end of the live stream. First off, I appreciate your support, your continued support. I'm going to continue to go live every day. This is the vision for the channel. I'm going to continue producing TA videos, published videos. Got to get back to that. Just have to find the time to do it. I will get back to it. But for those that have stuck around, I wanted to share what I thought would be a helpful, important message for you. So I just want you to consider this. Stick with me for a moment. Some deep thoughts from CBG, okay? Some of this is spurred from some life experiences that I have been through, and I'm sure perhaps you can relate to. And some of this is based upon going out with a friend and just having conversation. One of the things I really appreciate is, and I can see the viewers dropping off now that I'm off charting. Maybe I'll put on a chart so people think I'm charting. So one of the things I really appreciate are friendships that I have where I can really delve into like just having real serious, like meaningful conversations, like really real conversations. So what I want to share with you is this. It's interesting because the more people, more time that has gone by for me, what I recognize is every person, the way they sort of turn out in life when you become an adult, in so many ways, you can look back on your childhood and the environment in which you were raised and your surrounding environment, okay? It has so much influence on who you become as an individual, like your thoughts, what you think to yourself, like your actions, how you respond to things. All these things are true. But while that is true, it's important to self-recognize that. And the thing I would say is it's up to the individual to change that. There's no reason that based on whatever hardships you went through in life, there's no reason that based on whatever circumstances you had in life or whatever you witnessed between a mother and father or what you witnessed between friends and family, whatever specifics you want to get into, there's no reason that has to dictate who you become as a person. But what I would also say is it's up to you to change. You're a human being. You're an adult, okay? It's important to recognize that, and then what do you want to do about changing that? The other thing I would encourage you to think about, though, is be cognizant of who you keep in your sort of inner circle, who you keep close to you, okay? You can't change anyone. Change comes from somebody who is mentally strong and recognizes things and wants to become a different person. I hesitate to say better person because most people are very good people. They're very good people. We just all in life, we have struggles. Every human being on this planet has struggles, myself included, absolutely, things I struggle with. But I think the fewer people are the people that recognize that and then actually do things to actively change it. Just recognize you may see something in someone else that is so goddamn apparent to you and is just so flagrant and obvious to you and it's nauseating and you just recognize you can't do anything to change the people around you, okay? All you can do is control your own thoughts, words, and actions, okay? It's up to that individual to take self-responsibility to recognize something and change something. And really be cognizant of the company you keep. Like really ask yourself, the people that you have in your life who you're closest with, what do they provide to you in your life? What do they add? What do they mean to you in your life? Are you keeping cynical and negative people in your life? People that bring you down? People that have nothing supportive or positive to say? People who are always cynical? People who are negative towards you in one way or another? People who are emotionally abusive? Because emotional abuse is a very real thing that doesn't get recognized enough. Or do you keep the company of people who are very positive, very supportive, very real with you too, have hard conversations with you, people who are willing to call you out, people who are willing to have hard conversations with you? Those are the people that you want to keep closer, people who really love you and care about you. And I know I'm getting super deep here, but I think it's very important because I had a pretty profound conversation with someone recently, and it made me think about a lot of things in my life and a lot of things in that person's life. And as hard as it is, you really need to recognize those things in your life. You really do. You need to take a step back, I think, sometimes in life, no matter who it is. If it's a best friend, or it's a friend, or associate, or even your spouse. These are things you really need to consider in your life. So with that being said, sometimes we get into these deep thoughts on the All in the Charts channel sometimes. So I hope everyone appreciated the technical analysis. Sorry, I meant, do you have a favorite indicator that you use when you chart? Oh, Track has a question on favorite indicators to chart. So typically the three main price indicators that I use, which are pretty standard when charting, this live stream has gone very long, but no apologies here. Typically the three price indicators that I use when charting are the MACD, the Relative Strength Index, or the RSI, and the Stochastic RSI. Sometimes I use the KSI, which is the, keep it stupid simple, but it's also a momentum indicator similar to the RSI. So the first three I listed, those are the three main ones. Then the other two sometimes I use, on balance volume, which is OBV, and then I also use the KSI. Those are the other two price indicators. But really it's the MACD, it's the RSI and stochastic RSI. I guess there are actually three alternative indicators. There's the KSI, there's the OBV, and then there's the MFI, the Money Flow Index, which I believe is very similar to the OBV. Some of these price indicators are very similar to one another. But really, guys, okay, so Neffy says, awesome advice, always working to improve myself, accepting my flaws and bad habits, and trying to build the best version of myself. Look, here's the thing. I mean, on a serious note here, guys, and I'm glad you shared that. I appreciate you sharing that. Thumbs up to keeping shit real. The reality is, the older I get, the more I realize, and you go through certain life experiences that make you think about this. Life is very short. It's very fleeting. It really is, okay? And you realize that especially when you go through certain events in your life. It's very fleeting. So you want to make sure that whoever you're choosing to spend your time with, first off, is worthy of your time, quite frankly. And I say that with all the strongest bit of humbleness. I mean, but time is the most valuable resource we have. So if you're spending your time with someone, you're making an effort to spend time with someone, you're making your effort to do things for someone, support someone, be there for someone, Christ, you better make sure it's someone worth your efforts, okay, first off. What does that person do for you? Is it mutual? It doesn't need to be 50-50. That's not what I'm saying. But if you're doing things to support that person and be there for them, are they doing similar things for you, or is it one-sided? Okay? And secondly, are you being honest with yourself? To Neffy's point, are you really spending time analyzing introspectively who you are as a human being? Because if you're not doing that, I've had conversations with people for whatever reason, and there's no one person I think of. I can think of a few people. For some reason, some people are so standoffish against just taking a look in the mirror, self-reflecting, and just asking some hard questions about themselves. I don't know why that is. I don't know. I understand it's uncomfortable, but there's no way for personal growth unless you're not willing to acknowledge certain things about yourself. We're all human. We all, myself and yourself included, we all have all these God-given gifts and abilities. We all have these awesome qualities associated with us. And we also have all this messy shit associated with us. And sometimes what we need to do is we need to deal with the messy shit. Because if we don't deal with the messy shit will continue to come up in our lives. It'll just be like, it'll just continue to accumulate, fester, and come up in our lives, right? Rather than deal with it. But you have to decide to be the person who wants to change in a positive and beneficial way. You cannot change anyone. Again, you can, it's so funny. Funny, not funny, but you can see things from the outside looking in on someone. And sometimes that's the best perspective. You can see something truly for what it is, and you can even be an effective communicator and try to share this with someone. But if they are resistant, there's nothing you can do about that. Like, you have to accept that. And again, I would just encourage you to also be very cognizant of the company you keep. Time is the most precious thing that we have on this earth. I am striving for financial freedom in this crypto industry. Via investing. And I'm not leaving, even when I do get my financial independence, when that does happen, not if, when it does happen, I'm going to be here for a very long time because I'm very passionate about the industry. But financial independence is financial independence. I mean, it's money. It's just a means to, money in my view is just a vehicle to do good in the world and support yourself. That's all it is. It's just a vehicle to support your livelihood and do good in the world. That's all it is. But that's just money. It's not speaking to what you have going on in your personal life. So just keep all those things in mind. And I hope you appreciated that. But guys, once again, I appreciate the support on the channel. I like coming on here. I love coming on here, and it's been well over an hour. We've run well over. For tomorrow, make sure that you hit the bell icon for notifications, because tomorrow, depending on my work schedule, I have to check out my work schedule. We've been doing this. I'm actually the one that helped instill this, by the way, because of the prior organization I worked for. No meeting Fridays. Like, let's get all of our work done on Friday, and let's go into the weekend feeling refreshed. So on Monday, we feel good. Not having all these goddamn meetings on Friday. We have Monday through Thursday to have all these meetings. No reason. I had a meeting pop up on my calendar at 12 noon on Friday. Are you kidding me? And my calendar is blocked off. I mean, my manager gave me the okay. Hey, we're going to do no meeting Fridays. Fine. I blocked my calendar off out of office every single Friday for the entire summer season. That's what we've done. So you can send me the meeting notes. I'm not having a meeting at noon on Friday. I'm not having any meetings on Friday. But the point is, I'm going to start my workday pretty early tomorrow morning. And as a result of that, I should have an opportune time to go live tomorrow. Maybe I like the 11 o'clock time frame. Maybe it'll be 12, maybe it'll be 11. But keep the notifications on, because we can reassess kind of what's going on in the market at that point. It looks like Bitcoin's sitting at about the same level we were at before. What is that, 26.8? Yeah, 26.9. So we'll assess the market tomorrow. Stay patient out there. Be unemotional and logical with how you're evaluating things, and we'll be back at it tomorrow. Click the bell icon for notifications to know when I go live. Appreciate the support. Everybody, take care. Have a good evening. And until next time, spread awareness and carry the education forward. Take care, everybody.